we are as a people inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It's 7/11/26, 9:20 a.m. I am off today. Speak of the devil. So, a lot has been going on lately. I have a little prayer candle that I use. It's a green one, a St. Jude prayer candle. It's for when you're feeling desperate and in a time of need. It's just a little prayer you say to St. Jude. You light it. I'm not Catholic, but I can tell you one thing: that candle works, man. So, we had the Strawberry Moon episode that I did, and I was having like the worst fucking luck ever. I even believe it was Old School Dave who messaged me, and he's like, dude, when it rains, it pours. And I'm like, yeah. And then I kind of watched the episode because we kind of get into it about just my struggles with shit that I've been dealing with. So, knock on wood, the car is good. I just rhymed. I was struggling with the car. So, put my beanie on. My hair looks crazy. I was struggling with the car. The last current thing that was going on was the hood wasn't popping. So I took it to the shop. I took it to S&S Tire on Brennan Crossing. And they're okay. They're an okay shop. Sometimes they're awesome. Sometimes they fucking blow. So the guy fixed my tire because I had a flat tire. He fixed it. Turned out it was just all it needed was a patch. $23. I'm like, there we go. I'm having all this shit luck, but God is blessing me. Then, he's like, well, the hood won't pop. But I have my manager, 4th of July weekend. He said he won't get back to you till Monday. He's going to call the dealership so that way we can get the part and replace the whole cable. I said, okay. I never get the fucking call. So I'm driving it yesterday. I had to do something. I can't remember. It was something in the morning. I had to run an errand. Oh, actually, I was going to go to S&S Tire because they had never called me. And by the way, I had some crazy shit happen after the 4th, but let me finish the story, this story, and then we'll jump to that story. It does connect, though. And it connects with the Strawberry Moon stuff. So go watch that episode because it's not as sinister as, like, Donut, and, like, all these other content creators, Truth Seeker, fucking Minutes of Horror. I love him, by the way. He's actually cool. Donut, I like him too. Truth Seeker, I watch him every now and then because he puts out, once in a blue moon, he'll put out a good scoop, but for the most part, he's just negative, to the community. But, they're all saying, like, oh, the Strawberry Moon is evil and dark and scary, which they are. I think all three of them are Christians. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't think Donut's a Christian, but I had put a spin on it. I'm like, no, we're going to talk about the strawberry moon and the occult meanings of it in a positive light. And I wasn't even forcing it to be positive. I'm like, what is the occult meaning of the strawberry moon? And it's like basically during the time of the strawberry moon, which was last week, it's a shift within your life. And you can bring good things into fruition. So I had all these struggles that I was dealing with in the car. It wasn't as many struggles financially and expensively as I thought it would be. So I got the tire patched for $23. Awesome. That's a blessing because I could have had to buy a whole brand new tire. So then I'm about to go to S&S Tire and they open in like 30 minutes. I got up early that day. And I'm like getting gas for the car because the gas hands broke. So I just fill up every time I go out. It's another thing that I'm going to get fixed. That and I needed a tail light. Sammy said the other day she was driving behind me because I had to go pick up my car from Kroger. I'll explain that in a little bit. And she's like, your tail light's out, so go fix it, you know. And I was like, okay. So I was going to get the tail light fixed. So that's an easy fix. It's pretty cheap. It's not super expensive. And I'm sitting there getting gas, and I go, you know what? I'm going to try to pop the hood. Pulled the fucking cable, the hood pops. Slam it shut. Pull it again. Hood pops. Slam it shut. Pull it again. Hood pops. Slam it shut. Because anytime I buy a new car, I automatically get an oil change. So I'm like, guess I'm getting an oil change today. And I don't need to fix the cable, not immediately, you know. That'll be something cosmetically I can do when I have the time. But so yeah, my car is up and running. It's running good. Knock on wood on all that. Yeah. So let me tell you, I got a new job. So right before the strawberry moon hit, I got a message from my buddy Kyle. And Kroger here lately had already started getting weird again. And I'll tell you the issues that I started having. So I got a message from my buddy Kyle. He owns a cabinet shop. And he hits me up once a year to see if I want to work during the summer. Because he puts out, like, that's their busiest time. Basically, it's making cabinets, installing them. I worked my first day yesterday. Dude, it is hard work, but it's a job, you know. And it's mostly the heat. He told me just come up and check the shop out. So yesterday I went up and checked the shop out, and he's like, do you want to work today? And I'm like, sure. I didn't bring a water bottle. I was like not prepared at all, but you know, it's a job. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Dude, it is so hot, man. Like, I was pouring sweat, no water. All I had was this like half of a McDonald's Coca-Cola, dude. So like my kidneys were hurting. I'm like, dude, I need fucking water. Like, I was dying. So I got me a water jug. I'm going to bring it. I got some other stuff like earplugs. I got a razor from my old job. I'm going to use it to open boxes and stuff. Got some bandanas to like pull my hair back and like keep the sweat out of my eyes and shit. So yeah, I'm a construction worker now. Yesterday was cash money. I don't know if he's going to continue to do it cash money. I would prefer that because... wink, wink. It's off the books, you know. So what was I saying? Oh. Yeah, I left Kroger. So there's this, like, black supremacist dude who by the way, I've known this guy for, like, 4 or 5 years, man. Yeah, like, 5 years I've known this guy. His name's Adrian. He's such a piece of shit. So like back in the day, I never really had that many issues with him. But they had hired like multiple other black people. And like I don't know what they were putting in his head, but like this weird black supremacist shit, this victim mentality shit. So I'd already told you guys the whole saying like you're not an Indian, you know, and like weird shit like that. Why do you bring up your heritage? And I'm like, because like I find it interesting. I like history, and you know, we were talking about something relative to the two tribes of Native American that I have in me, Blackfoot and Kiowa, you know. So that kind of pissed me off. And then like one day we were sitting in the break room and I was like, hey dude, I got this video game. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Like, you want me to bring my Game Boy Advance up here and I can show you it on break one day? And he's like, Abe, I don't like that. And he's like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, what are you talking about? And he's like, I just think you're too comfortable with me. We're not cool like that. And I'm like, wow, like me just wanting to like, and by the way, I've been friends with this dude for 5 years. I don't know what the fuck I did. But he's like, yeah, we're not cool like that. Okay. That was weird and random. So that was one thing. And then another thing, like, we have like good jacks and bad jacks. Like one of the bearings had went out on a jack. I didn't know the bearing went out. So I jacked up a pallet and I'm pulling it out and I get stuck right in the middle, right outside the doors. And I say, and Adrian's right next to me with a good jack, and I was like, bro. And I guess he just thought I was being weak or something. I'm like, ugh. You know, I'm like literally stuck with thousands of pounds that I cannot pull. And I'm like, bro, can I use your jack for a second? That way I'm not blocking the intersection. And he looks at me and he goes, no. So I just pulled the jack out and I said, dude, what is your problem? I said, every day you're just being, well, not every day, but like every other day you're being weird. And then the next day you're like super cool with me. I swear he's got like undiagnosed bipolar. And luckily there was a person behind me, a coworker, and she seen it going down and he looks over and he goes, oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry. And I'm like, yeah, my jack is broke. Can you please let me borrow your jack and give me a push? And then suddenly when he seen that another coworker had seen how much of a piece of shit he was being, then he started being cool. So that was another issue. Another issue that I had with the guy was like, he was just super quiet one day and I said, hey man, are you doing okay? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, whoa, okay. I was like, you just seem quiet today. I was just making sure you're all right. I was seeing if there's anything I could do for you, you know? Like buy you a soda, buy you a bag of chips, you know, make your day a little better. He's like, just because I'm quiet doesn't mean I'm having a bad day. And I'm like, okay, I was just asking. And then my coworker was standing there and he's like, Adrian, like, he's asking because he cares about you. Like, what's your problem, dude? So other people had seen his weird actions. And then the final straw was the last shift that I worked. We all got our own sections. And I had a couple things that I hadn't seen that was his. It was like buried under a bunch of shit. So I went over to his section, the pet section, and I stocked a couple things. And I left my trash box because I carried the boxes over there. And this is kind of like a rule with Kroger, like an unstated rule of like, if you're stocking someone else's stuff and their trash cart's right there, you're allowed to like put your cardboard in there. You know, it's teamwork. So I was like, hey, do you care if I throw my trash in there? And he goes, no. And I go, really? I was like, why? And he's like, I gotta draw my boundaries with you. And I just went, what is your problem, dude? You're weird like all the fucking time. And I just like tore the boxes down and just threw it in his aisle. And then I walked back over later on because I had to stock something else near that aisle, and he threw it in my aisle. So I picked it up and I threw it in his aisle. I'm not picking this up. I'm gonna keep throwing it back in your aisle. And finally he came over and I said, no, Adrian, I have had enough. I said, you have been weird to me like more than a handful of times. Like more than like 5 or 6 times you have been weird with me for no reason. I said, I worked here before in the past. You never used to be like that. I don't know what's going on in your life that made you change from the year or 2 years that I took off from Kroger. I said, I've had enough. Get away from me. And I didn't yell, but I did raise my voice a little bit. I'm like, get away from me. You're being weird. Get the fuck away from me. And I called up my boss that night. I got my job done and I left. And I called up my boss and I said, hey, I'm going to tell you what happened tonight because you're going to hear about it. He's like, okay. And I said, this is what's going on. And next day I go to work and I get a call from my buddy Jacob who got me the job. And he just starts chewing me out. Did you know I put my neck out for you to get this job back? And I'm like, you didn't have to. That's the thing. Like, he started yelling at me when he was getting me the job. Like, he was like, hey, do you want your job back? And at the time I was unemployed. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And he's like, cool. And he's super nice. And then, like, we had this nice conversation. And he messages me like an hour later. I don't know if he had been drinking because he drinks whiskey. And he just starts going off. You better not fuck up. I'm putting my neck out for you. I don't even know if I want to get you hired back. Do you know how much you fucked us in the ass when you left? And I just called him up. I said, bro, what, you like did a 180. We had this beautiful conversation. And then you text me an hour later acting crazy. I'm like, bro, keep your job. And then he goes, no, you can have it. I'm still going to help you get your job. And I'm like, okay, but if you're going to act like this, I don't want it back. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I swear to God, dude, Kroger third shift on Brennan Crossing, they're all schizophrenic there, dude. They are all fucking schizo. So I'm working at the cabinet shop now. It's going to be tough because it's going to be... That was one thing already. I had mentioned it before that... Oh, here, let me tell you this woo-woo shit. So I'd gotten the message from... Ooh, nice. This is a good one. Sorry. Or no, this is hand-rolled. So I had gotten a message from my new boss. And he was a dude that I worked with at Beaumont Inn. I worked at Beaumont Inn for 7 years. And I worked with this dude for, I think, 6 out of the 7, you know. He's a real cool guy. Awesome dude. I worked with him and his brother. Got to meet his dad. I used to wait on his dad. His dad's cool as fuck. They're just good people, man. His new fiance, I used to work with her. She worked at Beaumont. So, like, we're already, like, a tight crew. We've known each other for fucking years. So, he texted me before the Strawberry Moon, before I left Kroger. And he said, hey, do you want to work this summer with me? And at the time, I said, well, I have a job right now. I said, I might be able to, like, pick up some shifts. And he's like, that's cool. And I'm like, okay. Because Kroger has been giving me, like, sometimes they'll work me only, like, 3 days a week or 4 days a week. It just depends. And then some days they would work me, like, a full 40-hour week. So, like, I was like, hey, the weeks that I only work, like, 3 or 4 days, I could pick up some shifts with my buddy doing the cabinet shop. And I was like, yeah, I could probably pick up some shifts. And, but when he texted me, dude, I had this, like, overwhelmingly dark fucking feeling in my heart. By the way, there's that candle. I just seen it. San Judas Tadeo. And then they have like the prayer on the back. You can pick these up at gas stations. I know it sounds really fucking weird, but they fucking work, dude. And it was after that Strawberry Moon episode that I lit it and was like, said my little prayer about life and my car and work and just everything, you know. My substance abuse, my alcohol problem, you know. So, I keep an apocalypse stash in my car. I know it sounds crazy. If you've ever seen the movie 1408, he always keeps a cigarette behind his ear. Because, like, he had stopped smoking. He had stopped drinking. And he keeps, like, an airplane shot in his pocket and a cigarette behind his ear, just in case the world ends. Because there's, like, one part of the show, the movie, and he's like, he goes to the hotel, and the hotel owner's like, would you like a cigar? And he said, I don't smoke. And he goes, well, you have a cigarette tucked behind your ear. And he goes, oh, that's in case a meteor's about to hit. And I understood that concept, man, because we had this conversation, well, speak of the devil, when I worked at Kroger. I said, what would you all do right now if shit hit the fan? And they all had their little answers, and they're like, what would you do? And I said, I'm not going to lie. We sell hatchets. Kroger sells hatchets. It's really weird. I was like, I'm going to go get a hatchet. So that way, when people start swarming this place and we're stuck here at Kroger, I can start hacking people. You know, the hordes of people trying to get food. I said, and the second thing I'm doing is I'm going to the beer aisle. And I'm just going to start chugging beers. And they're like, really, you would do that? I said, what are they going to do? Fire me? It's the end of the world. No one has a job anymore. Like, we're all going to die. If we got an alert on our phones right now, and I was in Kroger and it said, hey, a nuclear bomb is going to hit Kentucky in 15 minutes. Oh, I'm just going to light up a cigarette and go to the beer aisle and just start chugging beers. Like, fuck it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die fucked up. You know, so I have an apocalypse stash in my car for any time I feel like the apocalypse is gonna hit. And honestly, dude, like when Jacob called me and chewed me out, I just said fuck it, dude. So I just sat in my car, and Sammy, we had a 3-way convo, me, Sammy, and Jacob, because Jacob called in while I was already on the phone with Sammy. So I just merged the call. I'm like, she can be like the moderator. Yeah, like once I got off the phone with him, she was like already like, I'm heading up there. I already know what he's doing. He broke into the apocalypse stash. So like I had chugged like, and it wasn't nothing crazy, but I had chugged like 2 like Monacos. They're like a high alcoholic beverage. And I was like, yeah, I'm not driving home. I'll come get the car tomorrow. So I didn't get the car the next day, but I let it sit there for 2 days. And I came home and just was like, because look, man, like I have trouble drinking. I am what you would call a functional alcoholic. And I want to like, I knew that I was going to hit Kyle up. I wanted to get my car on the road and fixed, which I just explained earlier in the episode. So it's all street legal and running, you know. But I just wanted to sit here and sweat it out and fast for 2 days. I did it for 3. I was sick as a dog, man. Just sweating, shaking, puking, fasting. Because I don't know if you've ever detoxed, but like it's impossible to fucking eat, dude. I didn't eat for 2.5 days. On day 3, I usually eat, you know, because it's finally like, oh, I keep going to sleep, and like every dream I have is of like Thanksgiving dinner. Like I need to fucking eat. um, and I wanted to go to my buddy Kyle's new workplace with a new fresh Abe, a clean and sober Abe. And where I started struggling, this turning into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Hi, I'm Abe. I'm an alcoholic. Where I started struggling with Kroger was I was doing pretty good towards the beginning of going back to Kroger until my Cadillac died. So then, when my Cadillac died, I was getting Ubered to and from work. And I don't know if you guys understand the alcoholic mindset, but there would be times, I don't care if I was shaking, if I was like sick and sweating, and I've had a DUI and I know how much it fucking blows. So like there would always be that in the back of my head of like, you can't have a second DUI. And by the way, if you ever get like one DUI, they ask you every single time you get pulled over, they ask you for the rest of your life, have you been drinking? It's like a black thing on your record that never goes away. It sucks. But where I'd been getting Ubered to and from work, that little alcoholic part of my brain clicked and was like, I can't get a DUI if I'm Ubering to and from work. So I started drinking, before work. And yeah, I mean, it's not an excuse, but it lets you understand why I was kind of doing that shit. And I like now that where I work, I can't get drunk at work because I'm working around all these people. We're driven to the job site, and once you're on that job site, you don't leave until the job is done. If it's 7 o'clock at night, you ain't leaving until the job is done. So like you're stuck there, And I like that because it's like it forces you to stay sober, That, and like I said, I detoxed for like 2 or 3 days, and I just wanted to like start fresh and just a new Abe, a new car, a new job. But yeah, man, I didn't stay gone for too long. It was only like 6 days, but maybe 7, about a week. But that's been my crazy week, man. This strawberry moon going on and this CERN shutting off. There's been a lot of weird shit going on. And I've noticed it within my life. I do have 2 articles that I'm going to cover from 2 newspapers that I bought last week. Both of them are related to data centers. Yeah, both of them are related to data centers. And this shit keeps moving close to home. And I hate it. It sucks. There's another one, data center. It sucks, man. So I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, we are out of the stickers, and we're almost out of the bookmarks, so I might have to order some more stuff. But I will send you a signed bookmark, a Conspiracy Corner podcast bookmark. These things are cool as fuck. They got like a little steampunk bunny with a sword, because that's my spirit animal, a rabbit. If you don't want it signed, just hit me up through Buy Me a Coffee, and I won't sign it. But life is good. Life is going to get better. But yeah, that, and if just like, share, and subscribe. I've gained a lot of subs, man. I had a huge ass spike on Spotify, a huge spike on YouTube. And I'm like, dude, of course, every time I get a spike, life goes to shit, and I almost like go on a hiatus and quit for a while. But yeah, I mean, that's about it as far as my life. I will put out maybe a Blue Pill podcast episode today. I'll probably put out a couple episodes today, but love y'all and hit me up in the comments. Thanks for your thoughts and prayers if you were.